these guys that they added, now they add Jalen Phillips to the thing. They're getting the Kobe back. He's been a weapon. He looks like a missile out there. How shocked have you been with Vic?
Oh man, not shocked at all. Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. And the talent on this defense. Now, it's really funny, actually, Dan. I got a Jordan Davis jersey his first season, his rookie season, because I believed in him. I liked him a lot in Georgia, and I was so excited to see him ball out. Now, I know people have said, he struggled. He hasn't been that great. This season, he has been unstoppable with his blocking and coverage. And overall, I have to tell you, there are so many more factors to the defense. I mean, we have Cooper DeJean, Quinton Mitchell. And I think when you have such talented players, it's easy to have a good defense.
Haley Taylor Simon joins us now here, and we appreciate you coming aboard. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here with you today, Dan.
Absolutely here. So your love affair, is it football or is it hockey?
Oh, it's like both. Football, I'm able to be such a fan. And with hockey, I love the game. Now, of course, we have our teams that we like, but it's more towards all of hockey.
How about the Flyers? Are we ever going to see this thing get turned around again? I mean, I've always said this. Ed Snyder used to come on our program back in the day when we were down in Tampa, and he would come on. And I always said this. I go, one of the greatest things that the Flyers did back in the day was that they had a great minor league system when it came to goaltending. That was one of their fortes. Are you starting to see that come forward again a little bit, at least with the Flyers here?
Yes and no. I think Sam Ersson has 100% been struggling, and I would be actually really surprised to see him still with the team. Now, what I will say is Dan Vladar, who they have, playing as their starting goalie, even though he's technically a backup, I think that that's a step forward in progress. But I mean, do I think that the goalies in the AHL right now, they're going to be anything special? Probably not. But I do think once the Flyers have more money in that cap space, they can potentially trade for a good goalie.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I brought you on for the Eagles here too, because you know what? I've been covering now the Eagles now for 5 years. And I used to always say this. I go, God, that can't be that. I have never seen a team with more drama. I have never seen a team funner with a greater fan base to cover in my life. We get Angelo Cataldi on every single week, and we talk about it, and he talks about all these great fans here. So you tell me, can you win a Super Bowl with the 28th ranked offense in pro football? Do you think they can run through the tape when they're not getting it done on offense? And really, if you look at it too, Haley, it's 27 games now. They were 27th a year ago. They're 28th this year. Can you win a Super Bowl with this type of approach offensively?
Yes and no. And I only am saying yes, only for the pure fact that the defense has kept them alive. So I think the defense can win you another Super Bowl. But with the calls that Kevin Patullo is making, it makes me kind of question what this offense really is. We know we have talented players within Saquon Barkley and even Tank Bigsby, by the way. He's been playing stellar. We don't talk about Tank Bigsby enough. But when it comes to the drama with A.J. Brown and the receivers, I tend to blame Kevin Patullo more so than Jalen Hurts even, because at the end of the day, KP is the one making the decisions. And clearly, news gets leaked when it's Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown going rogue and making their own decisions. So that, honestly, in my opinion, is still on Kevin Patullo, because why aren't you calling good enough plays? We saw in Green Bay, I have to tell you, that was one of the most disappointing wins I think I've seen, just because the offense, it just looks so mediocre. So it's a yes and no question. If the defense wasn't as good as it is, I would say, yeah, no, there's no chance. But because the offense has the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion, absolutely there's a chance.
How about this too? Look at this here for me. Let's get to Kevin Patullo here. I just said this, okay? So this guy's been in the NFL for 15 years. He was 1 year at A&M. They passed him over. Haley, they passed him over twice in the building. First, when they passed him over for Shane Steichen, they went Brian Johnson and elevated him there, right? Then they passed him over, went out of the building and got Kellen Moore and brought him in. And then you turn the keys over to a kindergarten cop and you sit there and you go like this to the guy. You go, wait a minute. He's never called plays. Because he's been his buddy, you elevate him? I mean, how did they land on giving the keys to the team and the reigning Super Bowl MVP to a guy that's never called offensive plays?
And that's a really good question, something that I even question. And Nick Sirianni, as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, you need to take control. We all know Sirianni is an offensive-minded coach. So at the end of the day, if Kevin Patullo isn't doing his job as the head coach, you need to step in. Now, I also want to say, and kind of just thinking about this offense as a whole, yes, Jalen Hurts doesn't look the same. And two things can be true. And I think that's something that a lot of us fans, we like to kind of say, you know what, we love Jalen, Super Bowl MVP.
Wait a minute. Now you're starting to trend on kind of like where everybody's going to start getting mad at you, Haley, here. If you
It's
go
okay. It's the facts.
near him.
It's the facts because people don't want to listen to the facts when it comes to Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. And you have to wonder, too, why Kevin Patullo is calling certain plays and certain decisions like the run game. We've seen it struggle all season. Why are we running the football? Is there a problem with Jalen Hurts and his accuracy when throwing? And that's the questions. So I think it's a blame of all, but I do think the play calling isn't good, obviously. But at the end of the day, there's just so many questions that we have yet to have answered.
Absolutely. You know what? I think you're nailing it here. And I agree with you 100% here. Because here, do you believe A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley, do you believe that they've lost a step?
Yes, I do. Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think when you're going on social media and you're complaining about what's going on with your team, yeah, you might have lost a step of control in the locker room, not necessarily play skills, but control of the team. And the frustration, I mean, frustration is not going to win you Super Bowls. I mean, we see the Indianapolis Colts, right? A team that no one really expected to be that good. They have swag. They have something going on that the Eagles had last season. I'm just not seeing it with them this season.
That's a great take. It's not so much on the field because here's what I brought up too, Haley. I brought up the fact that AJ's targets are down now, at least 6 targets from a year ago, and from the last couple of years. Barkley's carries are down 10 from a year ago. He had 345 carries. Now he's on pace for like 275 carries this year. So, I mean, we have to go back to one guy here. It's Jalen Hurts. He's a limited quarterback. Do you not agree with that? I mean, he's limited in the pocket. I mean, in what he can do. And I think that's the frustration here that you have with really the players. I think there's two factors going on in the locker room. I know you know about the Derek Gunn report. Derek Gunn wants to get in that locker room, okay? And he's saying that the coaches are getting frustrated. Well, what you just pointed out, if they're getting frustrated, they're getting frustrated because guys are open and Hurts can't hit them.
Yeah.
Do you buy that Derek Gunn report?
Yes and no. I mean, I think that there is accuracy to it. It's hard, right? Because I always want to believe the journalist, right? As somebody that's in media with hockey, I would like for people to believe me when I come out with things. But at the same time, how can we 100% know what's going on?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agree. I mean, well, yeah, right. Unless you get it from the horse's mouth there too. Now let's go on to some side of the ball and let's do some really good stuff here with the defense. How shocked are you with Vic Fangio? I mean, if you blink, right? You close your eyes, you open it, you swear you see the 24 defense, especially over the last 8 quarters. I called it the blowtorch defense because they lost 5 guys off the starting Super Bowl team if you add Oren Burks to that. These guys that they added, now they add Jalen Phillips to the thing. They're getting the Kobe back. He's been a weapon. He looks like a missile out there. How shocked have you been with Vic?
Oh, man, not shocked at all. Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. And the talent on this defense, now, it's really funny, actually, Dan. I got a Jordan Davis jersey his first season, his rookie season, because I believed in him. I liked him a lot in Georgia, and I was so excited to see him ball out. Now, I know people have said, he struggled. He hasn't been that great. This season, he has been unstoppable with his blocking and coverage. And overall, I have to tell you, there are so many more factors to the defense. I mean, we have Cooper DeJean, Quinton Mitchell. And I think when you have such talented players, it's easy to have a good defense. But it also comes with your defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio. And he is able, I am telling you, he is able to make this defense an A defense to an A+ defense just due to how he is, right? And that's not a small task because in the NFL, we've seen the game kind of shift from scoring a bunch of points to now defense being kind of the differential between winning and losing. And what Vic Fangio has done has transformed this defense, and this is a Super Bowl winning defense. Now, will the offense be able to help them do the job? We'll see. But as far as defense goes, this is the best defense that I have yet to ever see in my life.
Holy cow, that's fantastic. All right, it's Cowboy week now, All right, hey, the Cowboys, I think they're getting better, I mean, I think they've added Quentin Williams now to the mix. They got Overshawn back. We'll see if he's able to come back from that ACL, MCL injury, because that's a devastating injury just to say that he's going to come back the following year. But, they've got a top-flight offense right now. I mean, they're a better football team. It's going to be like a neutral, environment because they're going to be inside. So, I mean, how do you think this game plays out on Sunday?
I think the Eagles are going to dominate. And I think that this is going to be the first time that we're going to see the offense really ignite. Because the Cowboys, I mean, I know that we always say in Philly, oh, the Cowboys suck. And I get it. I'm the same way. Trust me. But if you're just looking based on statistics, the Eagles are a much better football team. And I think, especially the NFC East, it's not that good this season. You have, the Cowboys, who are probably your most competitive team, the Giants, who are the Giants, and then, of course, the Commanders, who took a big fall down. So this is one of those games where if you're the Birds, you got to go all in and remind everybody why you are the defending Super Bowl champions. So for me, I think it's going to be a big run game. I think that we're going to see a lot from not only Saquon, but again, my boy Tank Bigsby. And again, I think the defense, I really do like Tank though, but I do think the defense is going to just prove why they're so stellar, and they're going to probably hold the Cowboys to under 14 points. It's going to be a low-scoring game for the Cowboys.
Okay, so you thinking 31, maybe 13, something like that?
I like more 27,
so the offense gets going, but not too much.
Oh, yeah, no, we keep the expectations low with the offense. We're not going to blow them out like crazy. We still have to remember we haven't seen a lot of accuracy from Jalen Hurts. And we've also seen guys like Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith drop the ball, and we can blame the weather conditions. But since you're going to be, in a controlled environment, there's no excuses this week.
Absolutely. Who do you think the biggest threats are in the NFC? If for the Eagles in the NFC, who would you put up there as your top three teams you think are the biggest threats?
I have to say Bucks. The Bucks have always been a problem, especially in the playoffs for the Eagles in most recent times. I'm going to still have to go with Green Bay. I still think the Packers have a lot of talent, despite the fact that the Birds won. It wasn't a big win by any means. And then, this is a good one because there's not that many teams this
the Rams.
year. Oh, see, that's a good one, but I don't know. It's so hard. I am telling you, when I'm thinking of teams in the NFC, a lot of them have been so disappointing that I try to think of it towards the playoffs, right? And how I think certain teams will do.
So you look more at matchups.
I look at matchups.
You think the matchup for the Bucks and Eagles has always been a problem for the two teams, right? Especially for the Eagles. Yeah, and so when you see the Rams, you're going by the fact that they pretty much have owned Sean McVay in them. So you look at more at the matchups, right?
Maybe the Lions even. I know that the Eagles most recently beat them, but again, I still think there's a lot of talent and there was a lot of injury. I want to remind everybody that's listening and watching that your secondary for Detroit was mostly injured. So you didn't have a full healthy roster. So that to me is another factor where I'm like, okay, well, if everyone was healthy when it comes to the playoffs, would it be a completely different ball game?
So Nick Sirianni, Angelo is not a fan of Nick Sirianni, and I can't think that I am too. Especially, I mean, Haley, when he does that decision making with fourth down, you're sitting there and you're going like, dude, why are you giving them the opportunity? There's one thing to I thought Dan Campbell was too aggressive, 0 for 5 on fourth down, and I thought Sean McVay was too conservative in that fourth quarter, right? Yeah. So I mean, when you think, what's your opinion of Nick Sirianni?
He's gotten a little too cocky this season. I think that he thinks he's the big man in the room. Hey, I just got us a Super Bowl victory. And he's not doing what he did last season, was play with more brains. And I don't want to call the coach stupid by any means, right? Because he's still an NFL coach. But some of the decision-making is what you see in high school football games. It doesn't make sense to me. And the trust that he has with the offense, by the way, doesn't add up either, considering how the offense hasn't been dependable. So in terms of a coach, Of course, I like Sirianni because he got the birds, a Super Bowl victory, 2 Super Bowl appearances. But at the same time, this season, I'm not really buying into the whole, Sirianni bandwagon. I just can't do it.
Now, wait a minute here. Now, maybe this is because of this. We had Doug Peterson on with us about a month and a half ago, Xander. We had him on, and Xander's a big Doug Peterson guy. So is it because you're a Doug Peterson person that you look at Doug and you go, because Doug brought the first one, there's a statue out there. He brings the first one, and always the first one is always going to be the most meaningful one. Is it there that you like Doug more and you looked at Doug being more? Because I think Doug was a great coach. I still think Doug's a great coach. He was in Jacksonville. Who's going to be a great coach in Jacksonville inside of Tom Coughlin, right? So is that where you go down and where you look at it? You're more of a Doug fan?
I think what Doug did was so special and unique. And what he was able to do with that team is something that no other coach is going to be able to do in this franchise. It was special. I think that Doug didn't get the respect that he deserves from the organization. And I understand, you want your team to go back and to win again, and you're not always going to have the best seasons. But they did Doug so dirty. But yet with Sirianni, they make excuses for him. I mean, the behavior that he had last season during the press conferences with his kids, it was so unprofessional. And the organization made so many excuses for Sirianni, but yet they can Doug as soon as they can. So for me, there is a soft spot for Doug Peterson, obviously, because I think that he didn't get the respect. And at the same time, he didn't act like a child when things didn't go his way. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Howie Roseman, what's your spin on him? I mean, I think, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong on this, I think ever since the Jalen Reagor deal and the Jalen Reagor pick, he has been a much better talent evaluator. He's listened to his guys better. Because if you think about it, in all the years that he had control of the personnel, he couldn't draft a corner to save his life. He couldn't draft an edge rusher to save his life. And all of a sudden now, you're seeing over the last 5 years, really, since that draft, you're seeing guys really hitting. You're seeing guys like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. You're seeing the Kobe Dean. I mean, Carter's going to be a great player. Jordan Davis is coming on this year. First year, and he's really started coming on. I mean, what's your takeaway on him?
Howie Roseman, what can I say about him? He is the best general manager. He is so smart and strategic. And I get that, certain players it didn't work out that we most recently traded for. And I get it, things happen. But at the same time, the fact that he is able to make something out of nothing, and this isn't just a one-time thing. I mean, this is a multiple-time thing. I mean, you think about Saquon, right? And you think about just all these other moves that he's made, how he does with the draft. It's unbelievable. So when I look at Howie, I look at somebody that is like a guide in my eyes, because you're not going to see any general manager do what he does. And maybe I'm a little biased. You know what? I'm 100% biased, right? Because I'm an Eagles fan. But I haven't seen anything like it. Like in Howie, we trust. And I think every single person that's an NFL fan can look at their general manager and say, you know what? They're not doing what Howie Roseman's doing. He really is something special. And the franchise, they're going to hurt so badly when he's gone because he makes it look easy.
He surely does here. All right. Do they win the Super Bowl? Do they go back to back?
Oh, man. As a fan, I want to say, oh, yeah, absolutely. But as somebody that's still, down on the offense, I'm going to say no. Unless the offense turns things around, I can't.
The schedule softens up a bit.
It does. But even, and I want to bring us back to the first time we played the Giants in New York. Well, I guess you could say in New Jersey. It was an ugly loss. I know a lot of us were kind of distracted by the Phillies, but the Giants are not a good team.
No.
And I just feel like I haven't seen the Eagles have that moment of magic. And again, when it's playoff time, it's a completely different ball game. And yes, I think they're going to get home field advantage. I think they're going to have that, right? But what if a team comes in, let's just say for all fun and games, it's the Bucks, right? I don't know if I would feel confident in them beating them. So again, I think that it's easy for us to say yes. I think the AFC looks like a complete mess, if we're being honest. But this season in football, Dan, it's weird. There's not a lot of good teams.
No.
And the teams that were good kind of digress, like especially the Ravens. I know Lamar and the injury. And
they're going to win that division, though.
It's unbelievable. And they shouldn't have. And that's the thing. So this season's weird. Watch it be like the Colts. And I kind of jokingly say that. And they've only beat really bad teams, but that's how the season's going to turn out to be.
How about this too? I think are you on the side of the margin of error? Because a year ago, the margin of error, because you had that dominant run game, that's where you had that margin of error. You don't have that because the run game is not where it was. Now you're down at 19th, somewhere hanging out there. Passing game is at 28th, as I mentioned to you. So it's the margin of error where a couple turnovers, that's the doom here, where a year ago you could kind of maybe run yourself out of trouble, right?
Oh, absolutely. And all the penalties that the Birds have taken. I mean, it's coming to the point where you can't really, trust they're going to come out of bad situations on the field. And we saw how the tush push went in the last game. It didn't. And that used to be 100% guarantee. So the margin of error, not only is it big, but even in those moments where you're able to come out of it and have life again, you can't even do that.
All right. I'm going to have to circle back now because I'm a big hockey guy, just so you know.
I like that.
I mean, Bobby Orr is a dear friend of mine. Dave Vanderchuk, all them dudes are my boys and all that, right? So, all right, the Olympics, man. What are we doing in the Olympics? Obviously, Team Canada and Team USA, that's coming up in a couple months. Team USA have a shot to win that thing?
I hope so. I'm a huge fan of the Kachucks. They're some of my favorite players right now in the game. And it's really interesting about Team Canada. So I'm going to spill a little bit hockey right now. Jordan Binnington is the projected goalie for Team Canada, and he's had an awful season. It's been ugly, some of his worst performances. So for me, I'm actually like, you know what? USA might have a chance because if your goalie isn't playing well, honestly, that's the difference maker. So I hope Team USA does win. I like that John Tortorella is an assistant coach. I know a lot of people in Philadelphia didn't like him, but at the end of the day, he's one of the great hockey minds. And I encourage those folks who didn't like him, look what he did in Tampa. Look what he did with New York. I mean, he is so smart. And even Matvey Michkov himself misses Tortorella. Now, again, I think that we see coaches as hard and we say, oh, well, they're hard. The guys, their feelings might be hurt. I'm not making excuses. Like, you're an athlete. You're supposed to take good direction. So I think with him, John Cooper, I mean, I see a lot of good for Team USA. But again, this has been one of the weirdest hockey seasons. We've seen the Penguins playing really well. And of course, the Devils too. I mean, they're unstoppable. The Avalanche are unstoppable. So when you look at a lot of the different players that are mixing on those teams, then you're going to feel confident. But my boy, Jake Ottinger, okay? I am such a fan of him, and he's probably projected to be the backup goalie for Team USA. It looks like Connor Hellebuck might be the starting goalie. I'm an Ottinger fan, so I think you should have Ottinger in net. That's my biggest takeaway because he's more consistent in the playoffs. Whereas when you look at a guy like Hellebuck, he's not. And the Olympics are sort of like the playoffs, but on steroids. You're playing for your country, and that matters. So you want to put the guy in that's going to get the job done.
I'll tell you, I follow. I'm a huge Tampa Bay Lightning fan, and John Cooper and I are dear friends. And I agree with you on Tortorella. You know what? You know what's funny because I Dockett also I was friends with because he was the head coach of the Lightning, and John Tortorella to me, I just loved him. And I remember when he got the job in Philly, I said, "Well, let me tell you something. You know the welcome mat you have in your front of your house, that thing gets worn out, really fast with him." He's like that, Matt. If you're not used to that guy, because the way he talks to people, you're not going to be prepared for that because he is a direct dude. But when it comes to hockey knowledge, John Tortorella is one of my favorite people. I remember when he pulled Javi Bullen out, and I go, dude, the guy just won you a Stanley Cup. He goes, the guy sucks right now. And I'm going, okay. He's just that guy.
He is, but I have to say that, Tortorella has shut me down so many times when it comes to asking questions about the team. But he is such a charismatic person that right before, the whole him leaving on his own, whatever you want to call it, right? He spoke with me for about 20 minutes about his passion for rescuing animals. And I think that people don't see that side of him. And they just see this guy that yells and has, a temper issue. but that's not really who he is. And what he was able to do with Matvey Michkov and how he was able to allow Michkov to feel comfortable jumping the ozone and taking these nice, nasty one-timers is something that kind of represents how coaches are in the KHL. And you're not going to find a lot of that in the NHL. So he was very unique as a coach. And I'm disappointed that other people didn't appreciate what he brought to the Flyers because, again, you get a team of not so talented players, to tell you the truth, and they're still 2 to 3 years away. But again, when you have a guy like Tortorella that's so competitive and used to winning and wanting to bring out the best, and fans, they feel like he's being mean, it's very frustrating as a reporter.
So finally here, being a media person in Philly for you has been what?
Oh man, it's been a dream. I mean, with what I've done with the Flyers, this is my 5th season now covering them, so it's been a dream come true. I love hockey and, talking to the guys, it's, like no other thing. But just with all the other kind of projects I've done and things I've done in the past, I love connecting with the city first and foremost. So being able to talk to people like me that maybe don't have a mic in front of them, but still have opinions and they want someone that's relatable. And I'm like, you know what? I love it. I'm a South Philly person. I love talking birds. And I'm just really lucky that, this is what I get to do. So I love it. I don't take it for granted.
I'll tell you what, I had a producer. Her name was Joy Taylor. I'll never forget. So I had Joy with me when I was in QAM down in Miami. And I remember her telling me, she's like, and I looked at her, I go, you're going to start doing my updates. And she goes, you can do that? I go, yeah, I got complete control of my content.
Yeah.
And so she goes like, okay, so that thing you started seeing with her on the on Colin Cowherd show where they were doing that update, that's where they got that from. And I always asked her, and I knew it was really tough for her getting into the business. So there's very few females that are in this business. Have you found that to be a tough putt? That you're in a male-dominated business, and it's really kind of hard to kind of stretch out your wings there a little bit to try to get in the room because it is so male-dominated. And I always thought we need more minorities, and we also need more women that are in this profession because I think if we expand, I think it'll make it better.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always had this mindset of I want the most qualified person to have a position, right? And that could be anything. I think
Anything.
male, female, if you're the most knowledgeable and you bring the most, then you should get it. I think the problem is that sometimes when a woman does get a position and the immediate thing from some guys, and not all guys, but some guys are, well, does she really know what she's talking about? And it's a sense of having to prove yourself. But I like proving myself because I do have the knowledge and I study. Like every day I wake up and I read ESPN for at least 2 hours. Like that's what I do on the daily. So I think studying is so important so you can become knowledgeable because I don't want to say that if you don't know what you're talking about, then you don't deserve something. But I think at the end of the day, it's what you put in is what you get out. So I think that if there are women that are knowledgeable and, they're good at what they do, they should get opportunities. And I'm sure it's harder for me, honestly. I put myself out there and I'm like, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Either way, I'm still going to be talking about the Birds one way or another, or any sports team.
I love it. I mean, you got a great personality, and I hope we can do this again.
Me too.
I mean, we definitely will be. I promise you, especially after the tough games. Let's see if we can keep doing this here because I'd love to have you on here because I think you really bring a lot, and I think you're very knowledgeable, and I like your attitude too, especially anything from Philly. I'll tell you how I learned. My friend Jerome Brown, who I played college football with at the University of Miami, I'll never forget. He goes, Sills, you could walk down a street in Philly, and if everyone has their windows open in September, you can walk down and never miss a play. He goes, you'll never miss a play when the Birds are on. So he's like this. It's like it's like a community thing, isn't it? When you're talking about the Birds, it's not just a team, people rooting for the team. It's really something with civic pride, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I have an Eagles tattoo. Like it's one of those things where it is
good.
It's our identity. It's who we are. We go to Wawa and we say "Go Birds" to each other, and it sounds like, oh, that's the stereotype South Philly, but it's real. And there is times I'm walking from my car to my place, and I'll look on the TVs, and it's literally just Eagles. It could be anything Eagles on any given day, and it's awesome. I mean, we live and die for this football team. And I think that's why it's so special, because a lot of places don't have the same passion.
No
And
way.
you don't have to live in Philadelphia either to have that passion. And I think being a Birds fan is universal. I mean, I know Eagles fans that are all the way out, like in Europe, and they're so passionate. And I love that passion. We don't have that enough.
Is it the team or is it the people in the city?
It's all of it. I mean, at the end of the day, it gives us something to believe in. And I know that sounds really deep, but it is that deep. Life is hard. Life sucks. But every single Sunday, Monday, Friday, Thursday, with the NFL expanding, you have an opportunity to just focus on something that we all have in common. And a lot of us don't have a lot of things common with each other than literally being Eagles fans.
Well, you killed it. I'm going to have you on again big time
Thank you.
because you are really good. By the way, just do this. You don't have to say anything because I know you're probably on one of them gag orders here.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Okay, wait. Joe Bell, thumb up, thumb down.
Thumb up. He was such a nice guy to me. I haven't seen him in a little while, to be honest, but
He hired me at QAM.
Wow.
He was my boss at QAM, and I worked for him for a little bit, and I know Joe very well. Yeah,
Nice
we worked
guy.
with each other. Yeah. Okay, so he was. I see why he liked you. I mean, you have a lot of. I mean, you and Joy have a lot in common. I think you're very. See, Joy really works hard at it.
Yeah.
And she's going through a lot of stuff right now. She told me all the stuff that went on at Fox, and I told her, I go, hey, what you think was going to happen? You're a chick. You're going to treat you like that. You got to be above that. And so she got it. She understood it. We get her on here all the time, too. And you are so welcome back. Haley, thank you so much. I hope we could do it again, my friend.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you.
You got it.